You think you're better than this family because you go to college. His daughter sat there crying while he tried to humiliate me again, so I let them go. Hi Reddit, I am writing this post because I don't know what should I do. I've been dating Madison for 14 months now, and honestly, I thought things were going pretty well until last Thursday. We met freshman year at State University, and I'm a sophomore now studying computer engineering. I work 3 jobs to pay for school weekends at my uncle's auto shop, lawn maintenance for my parents' small property management business, and tutoring high school kids in math. It's a grind, but I'm determined to graduate debt-free. The thing is, my schedule means I only really see Madison in the evenings after work and on Sundays. I'm usually pulling 60-plus hour weeks between school and work, so by the time I get to her parents' house, it's usually around 6 or 7 p.m. Her mom, Carol, is amazing, always asking about my studies, offering me dinner, genuinely interested in my life. But her dad, Dennis, complete opposite story. For over a year, this man has treated me like I'm invisible. I'm talking basic civility here. He'll say hello if I'm lucky, but most of the time he just leaves the room when I show up. Family dinners. He'll sit there in complete silence or find an excuse to go work in the garage. When they invited Madison and me to Six Flags for a family trip last summer, he literally didn't show up. Said he had work stuff to handle. Madison always makes excuses for him, saying he's just not good with new people or he's stressed about work. Thursday evening changed everything. I get this text from Dennis out of nowhere. Sunday 3 p.m., you, me, and Kyle need to have a man-to-man talk, non-negotiable. Kyle is Madison's older brother, and honestly, I thought we got along fine. When I texted back asking what this was about, Dennis just said, "Time we spoke as men." You've been disrespectful long enough. I'm sitting there staring at my phone, completely confused. Disrespectful? I work my ass off, maintain a 3.7 GPA, and I've never been anything but polite to this man. I asked Madison what this was about and she seemed nervous, saying her dad had been asking questions lately. Why do I only come over late? Why do we drive around aimlessly instead of staying home? The late thing killed me because I'm literally coming straight from work. The driving around. We go to movies, restaurants, study groups, normal couple stuff. But apparently, Dennis has been building some narrative in his head that I'm being disrespectful or something. I talked to my dad about it Friday night. My dad, Rick, is a no-nonsense guy, Navy veteran, works as an electrician, raised me to handle my business like an adult. When I told him about the text and the whole situation, he got quiet for a minute. Then he said, "If this man wants to have an adult conversation about my son, I'm going to be there." Sunday rolls around and Rick drives over with me. The look on Dennis's face when we both walked up to the front door, priceless. He immediately tried to backtrack, saying maybe we should do this another time, but my dad wasn't having it. "We're here now, Dennis. Let's talk." Dennis kept trying to deflect, saying this was supposed to be between him, Kyle, and me. My dad just looked at him and said, "Tyler's 19. If you want to have a man-to-man conversation about him, then let's have it like men, all of us." Finally, Dennis suggested he and my dad talk privately first while I went inside. I spent 20 minutes making awkward small talk with Carol and Kyle in the living room. Kyle seemed as confused as I was about this whole thing. When the front door opened again, my dad came in, made polite conversation for exactly 5 minutes, then said we needed to head out. The ride home was quiet until my dad finally said, "That man's got some serious issues, son. This isn't about you." Now Madison is mortified. Her friends are blowing up my phone, calling me immature for bringing my dad, and Dennis is apparently furious about being disrespected in his own home. Madison is demanding I come back alone to apologize and have the original conversation Dennis wanted. Here's the thing, I'm exhausted. I work myself to the bone for my future, and now my one day off is being consumed by this manufactured drama. I've got 3 jobs, full course load, and I'm trying to build something with Madison, but her father seems determined to make my life hell for reasons I can't even understand. Reddit, I'm seriously considering just ending this relationship. Am I overreacting, or is this guy just looking for a reason to power trip on me? Because honestly, I don't have the time or energy for games like this. So Reddit, AITA for bringing my dad to a man-to-man talk, or am I dealing with someone who just wants to bully me? Update 1. Well, Reddit, I promised I'd update when I found out what actually happened during that private conversation between my dad and Dennis. After reading through your comments and talking with my parents, I finally got the full story. And honestly, it's worse than I thought. So here's what went down during those 20 minutes on the front porch. Dennis apparently had this whole speech prepared about how I needed to learn to respect his daughter and understand there were going to be boundaries and expectations in his house. Classic intimidation tactics, basically, but my dad didn't let him get very far into it. According to my dad, he stopped Dennis mid-speech and said something like, "Hold on. You've been dating my son's girlfriend for over a year, and this is the first real conversation you've tried to have about him. You skip family events, ignore him at dinner, and refuse to engage. You don't get to suddenly play protective father when you've been absent this whole time." Dennis's response, "It's my house, I'll speak to anyone however I want." That's when my dad really laid into him. "Tyler is my son. He works 3 jobs, maintains excellent grades, and treats your daughter with respect. If you want to have a conversation about boundaries and respect, it needs to include both kids and both sets of parents. You don't get to ambush a 19-year-old just because you feel like flexing." The conversation apparently got heated from there. Dennis kept insisting he had the right to put me in my place, and my dad kept pointing out that I'd never been out of place to begin with. Eventually, my dad just said, "We're done here. If you want to have an actual conversation about our kids' relationship, call me, but I won't let you bully my son just because you can." Meanwhile, Madison has been relentless with the texts. I'm talking dozens of messages begging me to just let her dad say his piece and keep the peace. Her friends are calling me a coward and immature for not handling this like a man. Even Kyle, who I genuinely thought was cool with me, has been giving me the cold shoulder all week. But here's the kicker: my mom got a call from Carol yesterday. Carol actually apologized for Dennis's behavior and admitted he's stubborn and throws tantrums when he doesn't get his way. She suggested I should just let it go in one ear and out the other like we all do. That conversation with Carol really opened my eyes to the family dynamic here. Dennis is basically a controlling bully, and everyone just enables him to keep the peace. They've all learned to just take his crap and move on. And now they're expecting me to do the same thing. My parents have been incredibly supportive, but I can see they're worried. My mom made a really good point yesterday. "Honey, if this is how he treats you now, imagine what family events, holidays, and major life decisions are going to be like. Do you really want to spend the next however many years walking on eggshells around this man?" I keep thinking about that. I'm working 3 jobs, maintaining a 3.7 GPA, saving every penny for my future. My 1 day off each week is being consumed by this manufactured crisis. And for what? Because Dennis decided he doesn't like that I work late and can't hang around his house all day. Madison texted me again this morning saying I have until Friday to fix this, or she's done with the drama. But here's what's really getting to me: she's not asking her father to apologize for his behavior. She's not standing up for me or our relationship. She just wants me to submit to whatever verbal abuse her dad wants to dish out so things can go back to normal. The more I think about it, the more I'm realizing this isn't really about Dennis at all. It's about Madison expecting me to sacrifice my self-respect to make her family comfortable. And honestly, Reddit, I don't know if I'm willing to do that. I've got friends telling me to just apologize and move on, that it's not worth losing a good relationship over pride. But other friends are saying Dennis is way out of line and I shouldn't have to put up with this treatment. My best friend Austin put it pretty bluntly. "Dude, you work harder than anyone I know. You don't deserve to be treated like garbage just because you're dating his daughter." So here I am, 3 days later, still trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. Part of me wants to fight for Madison and our relationship, but another part of me is wondering if this is really the family I want to potentially marry into someday. What do you think, Reddit? Should I swallow my pride and let Dennis have his power trip, or is this a sign of bigger problems down the road? Update 2 Reddit, I thought things couldn't get worse after my last update, but I was wrong. Dead wrong. This situation has completely spiraled, and I'm honestly questioning everything about this relationship now. So remember how I mentioned Madison gave me until Friday to fix this? Well, Friday came and went, and I couldn't bring myself to apologize to Dennis. How do you apologize for something you genuinely haven't done? Madison's response was to post some passive-aggressive stuff on Instagram about people who choose pride over love and knowing when to pick your battles. Real mature, right? The comments section turned into a battlefield, with her friends liking and adding fire emojis while my friends were defending me in the replies. But that's not even the worst part. Dennis has apparently been running his mouth to anyone who will listen, and the lies he's spreading are getting more elaborate by the day. I found out through mutual friends that he's been telling people I'm disrespectful, think I'm better than everyone, and that I'm corrupting Madison somehow. According to his version of events, I refuse to spend time with their family, I'm too good to eat dinner with them, and I've been turning Madison against her own father. Madison's cousin Emma actually posted on social media about boys who can't handle real men and immature guys who run to daddy when things get tough. When I saw the comments, it was pretty obvious she was talking about me. The post got dozens of likes and shares, and suddenly people I barely know are commenting about the situation. It's like Dennis has turned this into some kind of public campaign to destroy my reputation. This whole thing is becoming public in the worst way possible, and my reputation in our shared social circle is getting absolutely trashed. People who don't even know the full story are picking sides, and honestly, a lot of them are siding with Dennis because he's been playing the victim card hard. Poor protective father just trying to look out for his daughter, you know. Meanwhile, I'm the arrogant college boy who thinks he's too good for a hardworking construction worker. The social media drama hit a new low when Madison's friend Jessica posted a long rant about boys who can't handle being held accountable and weak men who hide behind their parents. She didn't mention my name, but everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. The post got shared in our university's Facebook groups, and suddenly people in my classes were asking me about it. Madison finally gave me an ultimatum yesterday during what was supposed to be a study session at the library. Apologize to her father by this Friday, or she's done with all this drama. When I tried to explain again that I haven't done anything to apologize for, she completely lost it. Started crying right there in the middle of the library, saying I was choosing pride over love, and that if I really cared about her, I'd just do this one thing to make peace. It's just words, Tyler, she kept saying through her tears. Just let him say what he needs to say, nod along, and then we can move on. Why is this so hard for you? When I pointed out that her father has been lying about me to their entire extended family, she got defensive. He's not lying, he's just interpreting things differently. You do only come over late, and you do seem uncomfortable around him. That conversation really messed with my head because part of me started wondering if maybe I am being too stubborn. Maybe I should just swallow my pride, let Dennis say whatever he wants to say, and move on. My friends are split down the middle on this one. Some think I should just apologize to keep the peace. It's just words, man. Don't let pride ruin a good relationship. Others think Dennis is completely out of line and I shouldn't give in to bullying. My roommate Jake has been watching this whole thing unfold and finally said something that stuck with me. Dude, I've seen you work 3 jobs while maintaining a 3.7 GPA. You're the most respectful guy I know. If this man can't see that after 14 months, the problem isn't you. Austin has been my voice of reason through all this. He pulled me aside after our engineering lab yesterday and said, Tyler, you work harder than anyone I know. You're busting your ass to build a future, and this man is trying to tear you down out of pure spite. You don't deserve this treatment, and Madison should be standing up for you, not making excuses for him. That's when I decided I needed to document everything and get to the bottom of what's really going on here. I screenshotted all the messages from Madison and her friends, saved the entire text thread with Dennis, and asked my parents to write down exactly what was said during that confrontation. I also decided to reach out to Carol directly and ask for a private conversation, away from Dennis's influence and Madison's emotional manipulation. Carol agreed to meet me at a coffee shop downtown yesterday afternoon. She seemed nervous when she arrived, constantly checking her phone and looking over her shoulder like she was worried about being caught. And Reddit, what she told me during that hour-long conversation changed everything I thought I knew about this situation. She started by apologizing again for Dennis's behavior, but then she got real with me in a way I wasn't expecting. "Tyler, I need you to understand something," she said, stirring her coffee nervously. "Dennis has always been jealous of people like you, people who have their act together, who work hard, who have plans for their future." She told me Dennis dropped out of college his sophomore year after failing most of his classes. He'd been partying too much, skipping classes, and when Madison came along unexpectedly, he used the pregnancy as an excuse to quit school entirely. "He's always regretted that decision," Carol said. "And when he sees you working 3 jobs, maintaining excellent grades, planning for your future, it reminds him of everything he thinks he should have been." But here's the part that really got to me. Carol admitted Dennis has been actively pressuring Madison to break up with me for months. "He keeps telling her that you're going to leave her behind when you graduate and get a good job. He says you're too ambitious for this family and that you probably look down on us." Madison has been defending our relationship this whole time, but the constant pressure has been wearing her down. "She comes home crying sometimes," Carol told me, and my heart just broke. "Dennis will make these comments about how you're using her or how you're just slumming it until someone better comes along. And Madison tries to defend you, but she's starting to doubt herself. She's starting to wonder if maybe he's right." Carol looked exhausted when she told me this, like she'd been carrying this burden for months. "Dennis has always had a problem with people he thinks are better than him. It's not about you personally, Tyler. It's about what you represent to him, everything he thinks he should have been but never became." She also revealed that Dennis has been telling extended family members that I'm arrogant and think I'm too good for manual labor. Apparently, he's been twisting the fact that I work in an office tutoring kids into evidence that I look down on blue-collar work. "He tells people you won't even get your hands dirty at the auto shop," Carol said, "even though I know you work there every weekend." The conversation got even more revealing when Carol admitted that Dennis has been sabotaging family events specifically to avoid spending time with me. The Six Flags trip. He didn't have work stuff. He just didn't want to spend the day watching you and Madison together. The family dinners where he leaves early, same thing. He can't stand seeing how happy Madison is with you because it threatens his narrative that you're wrong for her. Walking back to my car after that conversation, I felt like I'd been punched in the gut and had my eyes opened at the same time. This whole thing isn't about respect or boundaries or protecting Madison. It's about Dennis's deep-seated insecurity and jealousy. And Madison has been caught in the middle, trying to keep everyone happy while her father systematically tries to destroy her relationship behind the scenes. I called my dad when I got home and told him everything Carol had said. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "Son, that explains a lot about Sunday. That man was looking for any excuse to tear you down, and when I didn't let him, he got desperate. But understanding his motivations doesn't change what you need to do. You can't fix that man's problems, and you shouldn't sacrifice your future trying to manage his insecurity." My mom overheard the conversation and added her own perspective. "Honey, if Madison can't see what her father is doing to you and your relationship, then maybe she's not ready for the kind of partnership you're looking for. A real partner stands up for you, especially when you can't defend yourself." So here I am, Reddit, 1 week closer to Madison's latest deadline, and I think I finally understand what I'm really dealing with. This isn't about one conversation or one confrontation. This is about a man who sees my success and ambition as a direct threat to his ego and his control over his daughter. And it's about a girlfriend who, despite loving me, expects me to make myself smaller to accommodate her father's psychological issues. Friday is coming up fast, and I need to make a decision that's going to affect the rest of my life. Do I apologize for things I didn't do, submit to verbal abuse, and enable a toxic family dynamic just to save a relationship with someone who won't stand up for me? Or do I accept that some battles are worth fighting, even if it costs me everything I thought I wanted? The hardest part is that I really do love Madison. But I'm starting to realize that love isn't enough when it comes with the expectation that you'll diminish yourself to make others comfortable. Update 3 Reddit. I never thought I'd be back here with a final update, but here we are. The last 2 weeks have been an absolute roller coaster. After my conversation with Carol and all your comments, I decided to have one final, honest conversation with Madison. I met her at our favorite coffee shop and laid everything out: Dennis's jealousy, his campaign to break us up, all the lies he'd been spreading. Madison's initial reaction was complete denial. He's just protective. When I showed her screenshots of the social media posts and explained how her father twisted my work schedule into evidence of disrespect, she finally started to crack. The conversation lasted 3 hours. We both cried and said things we'd been holding back. She admitted her father had been making comments about my priorities, but insisted she'd been defending me. The breaking point came when she said, "I love you, but I can't cut my family out. If you could just apologize and let him feel heard, maybe we could move forward." That's when I realized we wanted fundamentally different things. But the real explosion happened at Kyle's birthday party last Saturday. Madison begged me to come, promising her father would behave. Against my better judgment, I agreed. For the first hour, everything seemed fine. Then Dennis had a few beers. I was helping Carol with dishes when Dennis walked in. "Well, well," he said loud enough for half the party to hear. "Look who decided to show up. The college boy who thinks he's too good for honest work." I tried to deflect, but Dennis wasn't having it. He started ranting about how I thought I was better than their family, how I couldn't even talk to him like a man without bringing my daddy. The entire room was watching. I felt something snap. Maybe it was the public humiliation or 14 months of passive-aggressive bullshit finally coming to a head. "Mr. Parker, I've shown nothing but respect to your family for over a year. I work 3 jobs, maintain good grades, and treat your daughter well. If you have specific concerns, I'm happy to discuss them privately. But I won't be lectured in front of your family for things I haven't done." The room went dead silent. Dennis's face turned bright red. "How dare you talk to me like that in my own house, you arrogant little shit." That's when Carol finally spoke up. "Dennis, that's enough. Tyler has been nothing but respectful and you're embarrassing yourself." Madison's Aunt Linda and Kyle both supported me, but Dennis was too far gone. Madison's Uncle Tom stepped forward. "Dennis, you need to shut up and sit down. You're making an ass of yourself." The confrontation completely backfired. Instead of rallying the family against me, Dennis showed everyone exactly what kind of person he was. The party basically ended right there, with several family members apologizing to me privately. But the damage to my relationship with Madison was irreparable. She was mortified but still expected me to make peace for family harmony. She kept saying he was drunk and didn't mean it. That's when I realized we were living in different realities. She saw her father's public humiliation of me as something we needed to get past together. I saw it as final proof this family dynamic would never change. I made the hardest decision of my life that night. I told Madison I loved her, but couldn't continue where I was expected to accept abuse to maintain family harmony. "You deserve someone who will fight for you, and I deserve someone who will fight for me." We both knew it was over. It's been a week since we broke up, and honestly, I feel like a weight has been lifted. I'm sleeping better, my grades are improving, and I can focus without constantly worrying about family crisis. 6 months later, I'm dating Sarah from my engineering program. Her family welcomes me with open arms and treats me like family. It's amazing how different a relationship feels when you're not walking on eggshells. Madison reached out about a month ago through Instagram. I was polite, but didn't engage beyond pleasantries. I heard she's dating someone new, a construction worker like her dad. I hope she's happy, but I wonder if she chose someone Dennis would approve of. Reddit, ending that relationship was one of the hardest but best decisions I've made. I learned that love isn't enough if it comes with the expectation that you'll diminish yourself to make others comfortable. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. To anyone dealing with similar drama, you can't fix other people's insecurities, and you shouldn't sacrifice your self-respect trying to. Stand up for yourself and set boundaries. Thanks for listening, Reddit. This community helped me see clearly when I was too close to understand what was happening.